So the question is how to identify what is the swadharma of a person based on yoga philosophy. We see that there are certain tendencies in an individual. He would like to identify those qualities and choose his profession or his predominant mode of action based on those qualities. This may also help, educational counseling or help people choose a particular profession. How do we do that? Before we go into question and answer, Krishna actually says, Shreyan Swadharmo Vigunaha Pardharma Sanushtita Swabhavaniyatam Karma Kurvan Apnoti Kilbisham. It is better to do one's own dharma, even though imperfectly, than to do another's dharma, even if it is done perfectly. By doing one's innate duties, a person does not incur sin. So, what is this swadharma that Krishna is talking about here? Where he further says, Sahajam karma kaunteya sadosham api na tyajet sarvarambha hidoshena dhumena agniri vavrataha. It means one should not abandon, duties born of one's nature, even if one sees defect in them. O son of Kunti, indeed, all endeavors are veiled by some evil, as fire is always covered by smoke. So, with this, background, please share your views. What is this Swadharma? And how can we apply it in choosing a particular profession or a line of education for an individual? Kindly unmute and share your views.
Sir, good morning, sir.
Yes, Gandhiji.
Yeah, choosing our profession or career according to yoga is different. According to modern theory is different. So even during yoga in Mahabharata also, the Pandavas are chosen different careers. For example, Arjuna has chosen archery, and whereas Bhima, because of his body built and heavy build, he has chosen Malla Yuddha. And Yudhishthira is a more of yoga and philosophy. He is chosen as a what you call as a philosopher. And whereas Nakula and Sahadeva, they are in a different astronomy and astrology. They are into different ones. So the same family has chosen, though they are the Kshatriyas, they are chosen a different career according to their will and according to their liking. So in the modern also, the people now they are choosing according to their liking, according to their environment, according to the what they see the people who are growing, how they are making money, like that they choose. Some people they choose because some they want to make money easily, they become a politician. Some choose to become an engineer, and they want to become a scientist. What they see now, the media and education will help them to choose whichever the career they like also. And some of them were forced by their parents also. That is a different question. Whereas in Western countries, according to their liking, according to their ability, they give their option for the better career to become a mathematician, to become a scientist, or become a biologist, or to become a doctor. So like that, it is.
Yes, Gandhi sir. So question is, how do I identify my those inherent qualities through which I will know my Swadharma? Because Krishna is telling a very big thing. He is saying that if you identify your Swadharma, and in that Swadharma, you should not carry another person's Swadharma, and in that Swadharma, Even if you do imperfect action, you will not incur sin. So it is very important for a person to know what is his swadharma. Okay. So anybody else, any other views?
Doctor, can you put the query on the screen so that?
Yeah, it is the same question, sir. How to identify swadharma, and use it in choosing one's occupation. Yes, Raghunath ji.
Sir, will it depend on my responsibilities and my inclinations?
So responsibility is something which comes to me from outside, my society, my family, my nation. That puts responsibility on me. But how do I know my swadharma? My inherent qualities which will make my action sahaj. Sahajam karma kaunteya means, these are the actions which come to me effortlessly. And if I choose my profession based on those tendencies of my nature, then I will not incur sin even if I do them imperfectly. So how to know? How to know those qualities? They are my inherent qualities. They are not something imposed on me by another. Surya ji.
Yes, good morning, sir. Sir, the answer is in the question itself. Like some people, since birth, they know, like, for example, they are good in singing or drawing or painting, or they find out accidentally because people have observed them and they say, you have this talent in you, so go and explore it. So when the person then understands this, either intrinsically or, when others tell, and then they pursue that course of action, say, for example, singing, then it comes effortlessly, and then they can choose it as a career and be a professional singer. And then, like, the other part of it is, like, I agree in part with what what Mr. Raghunathji said, that sometimes the situation demands that we have to do it as per responsibility. But when you say swadharma, you find it. Like, say, for example, when I graduated, I was a commerce student and I thought I'd go into accounting and field. But later on, I found out that my ability is more into communication and training. So now this is what I'm doing, and I don't have to put that effort, or I don't have that stress when I take up my training. When I'm taking my training, I'm a different person. Well, at the time when I'm doing my other part of the job, then it's like, okay, I have to achieve a target, I have to do this, I have to do that. So then that does not become my swadharma. But I do it as part of a responsibility, it is part of my job. But the natural ability comes for me personally is when I take training. Thank you, sir. This is what I feel.
Very beautifully answered, Suryaji. So Suryaji has identified one important point here. She says that the person, is either observed by others or he himself observes that I have certain qualities which are special in me and chooses that as a career, or it helps. Here one important point that we have to understand is that this swadharma is deeper than that. It is just not some special talent that you have. The swadharma may be manifesting at a peripheral level in terms of this or that talent, but these are certain core values. These are certain core values right in the center of the personality of the individual. So the question is, how do we become aware of them? Is there any way? Yes, Shubhankar ji, would you like to share anything? You have raised your hand.
Yes, sir. Good morning, sir. Prachi here.
Yes.
I want to add what Suryaji is saying. So, so as I'm aware of my day-to-day things and what I'm doing. So the activities which I'm enjoying more and effort and I'm doing that effortlessly. So so that is one part of my Swadharma. and some responsibility or some activities which are, is my responsibility, which I should keep meditating, and I will, I mean, as and when the time passes and as and when I am doing it regularly, so I find some enjoyment in that as well, and getting used to or habituated to that particular thing, so that it gives me more satisfaction towards achieving my responsibilities as well, and slowly it becomes part of my life. So thank you.
Okay, okay. So Prachi ji has brought in another dimension. She says that Swadharma is something which you always enjoy. You never get bored of doing that. And it also comes with a sort of a ease. Here Krishna also uses the word sahajam. It is always sahaj for you and it comes with ease. So dear friends, let us look how, Krishna is trying to make Arjuna understand this concept of Swadharma. So he says in the 18th chapter, Brahmana Kshatriya Visham Shudranam Cha Parantapa Karmani Pravibhaktani Swabhava Prabhavair Gunehe. The actions, of the Brahmin, Kshatriyas, Vaishyas, and Shudras are distributed according to their inherent qualities, in accordance with their gunas, and not by birth. Gandhi sir also said, that they were Kshatriyas, but they were having qualities of different types here. In the same way, we see other examples. Parshuram, was a Brahmana but became a Kshatriya. So here, this is very important that this Chatur Varna, that this Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya, and Shudra, this concept, Krishna says that it is ingrained in the very fabric of the creation, because Prakriti is made up of trigunas, Sattva, Rajas, and Tamas, and it is manifesting in human behavior in these four fundamental categories. None of the categories above or below. Krishna is very clear here. Guna, Karma, Vibhakashah. So they are, all the three gunas are equal and they are getting redistributed themselves into these four particular human personality core characteristics. And if one is able to identify these core characteristics within oneself, then one will find it easy to choose a particular profession or to choose a particular line of education. So Krishna also, fundamentally, he goes on further and describes the core personality characteristic of a person, who can call himself a Brahmana or a Kshatriya or a Vaishya or a Shudra. So the way, that yoga philosophy approaches this question is, you ask yourself, am I a Brahmana? Am I a Kshatriya? Am I a Vaishya? Or am I a Shudra? So if, you ask this question and you get these, you analyze these characteristics, and see whether you have them. Shamo damastapaha shaucham kshantir arjavam evacha jnanam vidnyanam astikyam brahma karma swabhavajam. What are the core personality characteristics of a person who, according to his prakriti, is a Brahmana? Shama. It means that he naturally has a ability to remain tranquil. You observe certain kind of children are there. We say ये बचपन से ये बहुत शांत है, ये हमेशा शांत बैठ जाता है. All other kids, they can't sit still, but he finds it very easy to sit still for a long time. So Shama, it is a natural property to remain calm and to calm down people around them. These are the people who always pacify another people. When two people are fighting, they will come in between and they will resolve the issues. So they are pacifiers. In their mind, they have a natural strength of remaining calm and calming others. Number two, Damaha. These are the people who find Dama, restraint, the awareness of their responsibilities, their duties as natural to them, and they never cross certain kind of a boundaries and are able to control their senses in a better way than others. Number three, tapaha. They also are naturally inclined to doing certain positive, austerity. They do upvasa karenge, They have a habit of starting their day with certain kind of sadhana, certain exercises, going to temple, fasting. All those things also naturally come to them. Okay. Then purity, shaucham. These are the people also. They always want to be pure. They physically, mentally, and spend good amount of time in cleaning things, keeping things neat and tidy. Patience. Patience is another very, very important characteristic of a Brahmana. So they can endure things, they can, patiently, wait for the right time to come, they can put on effort. So patience, is also a very important quality of a Brahmana. Integrity, arjavam. Arjavam is the ability, to get the mind, body, breath, everything together, in responding, or in especially in the intellectual inquiry, in asking deeper questions about themselves, about existence, trying to get a deeper understanding of things within themselves and around themselves, is there. Jnanam vijnanam astikyam, he is also always prone towards going towards places or things which are filled with knowledge, and also the science. In fact, they are not different, science is also truth and knowledge is also truth. So they go with the material science, they also want to get the knowledge of the transcendental science and knowledge. They have astikyam, means they always believe that there is a consequence to their actions. Whatever they do here, it is going to somewhere manifest. So they have that kind of ability to understand what they should fear, what they should not. And these are all the qualities of a Brahmana. So from the childhood, these are certain 5-6 points which we can identify and ask ourselves, whether I have these qualities. If these are the qualities in an individual, then he can say that I am a Brahmana. If you think that that you are a Brahmana, then which are the profession, that you can go into? You can see that these people can become scientists, they can explore the nature, they can become astrophysicists, astronomers, engineers. These are all people who want to innovate something new out of their knowledge, out of their information. Or they can become school teachers. Ganga Maya is a famous teacher. When he retired, all the students were crying, when his transfer happened. So very humble, but they have that Brahmana quality within themselves. Or they can become great philosopher, writer, poet, Rabindranath Tagore. Or they can also become sports player, which demands that ability, of patience, of clearer, understanding, knowledge, and the step-by-step manifestation of the intellect. So, or, it is not necessary that they will only do the kind of a indoor kind of a profession. These qualities of patience, Rahul Dravid, the wall, so that kind of quality also we would say that here he is a Brahmana, because he shows that sereneness, that calmness, never excited, lot of patience, stability, deep analysis of things. So these are the qualities of a Brahmana, and this is how the person chooses a particular profession. Then the second thing that comes here is of Kshatriya, Shauryam, valor, Tejo, strength, glow, Dhruti, Darksham. So there is also a fortitude, ability to command things, and skill, skill in weaponry. Yuddhe cha apyapalayanam. And these are the people whose tagline in their life is never give up in life. Always fight till your last breath. Never die. Say kind of a attitude, large-heartedness. They also, Kshatriya are also people who are, quite large-hearted, and they find it easy to give. These are the people who have large group of their friends, and they never bother to share their things with their friends or to whoever that needs. Giving comes quite easily to a Kshatriya, and along with that, he also possesses this quality of not only physical strength but mental toughness, and skill, in winning, and there are dynamicity, and that Ishwara Bhava means the king, sits like a Ishwara, like that. These are the people who have that leadership inherent quality in them. And whenever they say, people naturally follow their command, So these are the qualities of a Kshatriya. So we can identify, certain children from childhood, you can say that they are very dominating, commanding, and confident in their nature, So when you see that, you can see that, Kiran Bedi madam, so it is not related to the gender also. As you can see, any gender can be Kshatriya or can go into any profession here. So these are the people who cannot tolerate injustice. They will stand, whenever it is required, or if it goes into profession, then in Olympics, you require a lot of strength, valor, dynamicity. So we have Neeraj Chopra, who, is a Kshatriya. He is bringing gold in Olympics for us. Or, it is not necessary. You can also become an angry young man, an actor who is very dynamic and becomes very popular like that. Or you can get into army, air force, navy, or any such profession. You can become an advocate, you can become police, wherever, you have natural need of these kind of tendencies. And even in the same profession, it is not necessary that the profession has to change. Even in the same profession, there are different roles. In army, there are people who are required in the background, that do the machinery work and repair the machines. These are people who are Brahmanas, but they are in army, so that also needs to be done. In the same way, in cricket, on one side there are test match, on other side we also have, T20 and the cricket, where you need more dynamic, more dominant, here, I remember this match, when Sachin was upset with a Zimbabwe bowler, Olanga, and he got him out twice on 2 balls, and next day we saw, how Sachin dominated. So these are the qualities of a Kshatriya, never give up and always come back with double effort. Similarly, we also see, Krishna continues there and says that Krushi Gauraksha Vanijyam Vaishya Karma Subhavaja. What are these Vaishyas? They have natural liking towards numbers, towards accountings, towards calculations. Whenever the numbers come, their face glows with a smile. They like that accounting thing. Also, there is a ability to do things in an organized way. These are event managers. So they enjoy, managing the events. They also are nature lovers who want to, do Gauraksha, do farming, and these are the qualities belong to Vaishya. And Paricharyatmakam Karma. So Shudras are those who like serving, they enjoy the very act of doing something for another. These are the people, when they feed others, they feel more happy than those who are eating. So those who take care of the animals, the veterinary doctors, all the doctor, including me, we may say that we are Shudras because, or Shudra and Brahmana kind of a combination, where naturally there is a liking to help others, to serve others, is there in a Shudra. Hanumana, was a Shudra because he just wanted to follow whatever Rama says. These are the people who love, having that feeling of devotion within themselves towards somebody higher, and have that dasya bhava naturally built in them. In Munna Bhai MBBS, you see, on Munna Bhai, is a Kshatriya, but the circuit who is there with him is the Shudra, but he is really, made for each other kind of a combination. So in the same way, we see that in society, Ratan Tata, these are the people who are the Vaishyas, who are lifting the whole nation, making, the economy cycle, which is so important, keeping it running and high. We also see, Menaka Gandhi, who takes care of the animals. Similarly, it is not necessary that you need to have some special glowing kind of a profession. You can be a simple housewife who is, mastering the art of managing the vermicompost, managing the waste management, and showing the creativity within the house itself. nurturing the family, taking care of the family. That Shudra Bhava is there in all the mothers, and they are great. They are great. So in the same way, we also see Mother Teresa showing that Shudra Bhava and becoming great human being. Or Devi Shetty, is a great doctor who has been lifting, masses through his punya karmas, through his charitable work, and through healing them. So as we can see, that there is nothing, no kind of a varna which is above or below. This was a kind of a very, superficial misconception that happened, but Bhagwad Gita carries very deep human tendencies, personality characteristics, which have the application, even in today's world, in making a person understand. In fact, I was little curious, so I just explored this further and found out that even if you make your Janma Kundli based on astrology, it actually describes which Varna you are, So it would be interesting to see, the birth chart of the children or yourself, and see, which kind of Varna you carry, and then see whether the characteristics that Krishna has mentioned here are there in you, and then see whether your profession or line of education is in accordance with your dharma. If not, it would be a good idea, to fine tune or tweak your profession. I don't say that you just leave your job, but probably within your job, you can choose a profile which is more aligned with your dharma, which will make things easier for you. Because Krishna says, Paradharmo bhayavaha. Just by looking at other people, oh, he's doing so great as a doctor, but you have Kshatriya dharma and you try to become a doctor, or you have a Vanijya or a Vaishya within you, but you just looking at everybody's becoming a doctor or an engineer, you try to do that, then Krishna says it will breed fear and depression in you. So one has to be careful. So after describing all these concepts of Swadharma, telling him that Paradharmo is Bhayavaha, oh Arjuna, you are born a Kshatriya. As soon as you were a small child, you took up the bow and the arrow and you were perfect. So this naturally comes to you, And then Krishna, after these shlokas, he tells Arjuna actually that even, by hatha, you are telling that you want to become a Brahmana, you want to take sannyasa and go away. I tell you that you will not be able to control your inherent nature, and you will by force get into the war, even if you deny now. Why does Krishna say that? Where is the free will then? So Krishna is telling Arjuna because Krishna knows that Arjuna is still bound a lot by the material nature, by the laws of Prakriti. He has not reached that inner freedom or transcendence that he can use his free will to go against his Prakriti. That requires lot of strength and freedom. That mumukshatva, to be able to free from those inherent tendencies of the nature, because they go very deep. So Krishna knew that Arjuna doesn't have that kind of a sadhana, and therefore he was able to predict that even if, temporarily Arjuna withdraws, he will by force be brought into the war zone by his gunas, So even Arjuna asked this to Krishna, who by force makes a person do something which he doesn't want to do. So it is the inherent Prakriti, the Swadharma that springs from within, if not expressed properly, it gets distorted. But this is how, the astrologers are able to guess, because they are able to guess only the material tendencies. If the person is too much bound, he has not done any sadhana, and if the ball drops from this height, then the ball has to come down, and it is going to take 4 jumps and then fall down. Knowing the nature of the ball and the nature of the ground, you can make a prediction like that. This is what we call as destiny, So to change the destiny, you have to really develop that inner freedom, that freedom from the gunas of the Prakriti, and then more flexibility comes within you, But for 99.99% of us, the Swadharma is something that we have been carrying in our core from many, many lives. And if we try to go against that Swadharma, then we waste a lot of our energy in just overcoming those inner forces, and that doesn't allow us, our mind, to be free for asking deeper questions or deeper spiritual inquiries. That is why Krishna says, just follow your Swadharma, you will not incur any sin. And just following Swadharma, when you become effortless, then you will be able to conserve your energy to go on the path of spiritual progress. Later on, when you progress, when you develop that complete inner freedom from the laws of the nature, then probably, you will be able to transcend these forces. But in the beginning, it is always better to follow the Swadharma. And how then following this Swadharma can become a yoga, can become a path for my siddhi or success, in spiritual path. He says, Yatah pravritir bhutanam yena sarvam idam tatam swakarmana tam abhyarcha siddhim vindati manavaha. By performing one's natural occupation, which goes according to these four quality characteristics or clusters that Krishna describes, one worships the creator from whom all the bhutas have emerged. Yattah pravritir bhutanam. All beings that are there in the universe follow their swadharma according to their nature, governed by this one entity residing in the heart. Aham sarvabhutanam hriddeshe Arjuna tishtati Brahmayan sarvabhutani yantra rudhani mayaya. I make the beings go through these various forms of life, according to their nature and their characteristics, residing in the very depth of their heart. So this swabhava, this swakarma is also coming from the divine in your heart, and you have to respect that. So just follow your swakarmanam tam abhyarcha, but also remain grateful, remain devoted, and surrender your action to this higher force. Just by doing that, you doing your swakarma, whether you are a housewife, whether you are a teacher, whether you are a, stockbroker, whether you are a person who is into poetry or art, just follow your swadharma, recognizing that this karma, this swadharma that you have also is given by a higher entity, and surrender those actions to that. By doing this, you will be able to achieve siddhi, which any yogi, any tapasvi will be able to achieve. So please contemplate on these wonderful thoughts and concepts which our great traditional literature provide us, and think about it. Thank you. Namaste.